Hey guys, welcome back to Marriages Restored in Faith. My name is Ray.
Hi guys, my name is Dora. It is April 28th, 2025, Monday afternoon. And again, want to thank y'all for joining us. There is our other platforms there that you can subscribe to our channels, also share our content as well. And there is our email there, the only way to get a hold of us if you would like to do so. And there is our ways to give if you are what's the word? Sorry, guys, I went blank. If you are called to do so, there you go. And there's our information there.
I was going to say also, if you're called or able to do so,
Yeah.
that does help us in the ministry too, because this is not free. Everything that we have to purchase in order to continue to make videos. But again, it's up to you. So here we are. And as you see the title, Mark of the Beast is being set up. Before we get into that, it still doesn't surprise me that people are not awake and seeing the signs, are not. It seems like there is not an urgency to get ready, to get prepared. That there's a complacency of just to sit back and everything's going to be okay. This false trust, thinking that this new president is going to change everything, because that is a false trust that people still believe that once this person got in office, that he's going to bring everything back to order and everything's going to go back to normal. Everybody can go on about living their lives like it was back in 2012, 2010, 2011. That everything is normal. There's nothing wrong, and we can just go back and live in our lives and not think of anything else. There's that false sense, false trust that people are still pushing, and they're not awake yet to see what is going on, to see that there are certain groups all together working with one agenda to complete what they started. But people still don't get it. I still try to discuss that at work, and it's like you're talking to somebody that gives you a deer look. And what really gets to me is the pastors, that they're so silent from the pulpit. It is like crickets from the pulpit, that they don't want to address what is happening outside those four walls. They don't want to address it. And then the ones that want to address it are the ones that are speaking things into existence, thinking that that is going to solve the problem. And that's not going to happen. In other words, you have the Word of Faith movement that is saying you can speak food into existence. You can speak wealth into existence. You can speak money to come to you. And this things that are happening around the world, you can speak it, that it doesn't affect you, that it doesn't touch you. But the Bible doesn't teach that. The Bible clearly states that at end times there's going to be chaos. There's going to be weather out of the ordinary. There's going to be massive food shortages, starvation. You name it. The Bible clearly said that it's going to be chaos like never seen before. And people think that if they don't speak about it, they won't see it. What am I talking about? If we can share, if we can share number 5 first, and I want you to see this because this can happen here in the United States, and I believe it's going to happen eventually. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen a year from now, 6 months, a month, weeks from now. And my question to you is, are you prepared? Are you ready? Right here, Spain declares state of emergency after major blackouts. It's not just in Spain. It's in other areas. And my question to you is, Are you ready if this happens? Do you have supplies? Do you have equipment? Do you have generators? Do you have stuff to sustain you during this time frame? If it might just be hours, it might be a whole day. Do you have stuff that will sustain you for a week, a month? You ask the average person, do you have stuff in your house to sustain you for at least a week? And they will tell you, nope. How about a couple of days? Nope. Why? Because I'm out shopping. Or because I don't believe that. I don't believe that's going to happen. I wish people would understand the times that we're actually living in. I wish people would actually wake up and see this. And let me show you what happens. If you can give me number 9. And I want you to focus on the shelves. Yeah, it's going to be hard to see the people, but at the same time, you can look at the shelves and see what is going on. Because if you don't remember, I still don't know why everybody was buying toilet paper in that time. I still don't get it. I cannot understand it. But you can mute it. So as you can see, and I was reading some of the comments, and somebody says, "Well, that's not panic buying." Think of it. It's Monday, and do you see the long lines? Do you see the empty shelves? How is that not panic buying? The empty shelves will tell you everybody went to a certain thing, which it might have been water.
Yes, that could have been.
Because that's the first thing people say. Okay, well, if there's no power, then there's no running water at my house because it runs on power. And you might say,
Yes.
My water don't run on power. How do you think your faucet turns on? Do you think you just move that handle? Where does that pressure come from?
Yes.
Who's running that pressure? The city.
Mm-hmm.
If the city doesn't have power, that means they can't run that water.
Yeah,
You can't flush your toilets.
The water, exactly. I was just about to say that. You can't flush your toilets because then, I mean, you can flush them if you want, and you can keep flushing them, and then you're going to have a backup, because everybody else is going to be flushing them, but it's not running. None of that is going to be running. People really need to do their due diligence to find out exactly how their water source, their electric, their everything that works in your home, it's by power.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not know that, you need to really investigate and educate yourself that it all runs on power. So if the city gets shut down or any type of power, that stuff is not going to run.
I mean, my next question will be: I hope these people aren't buying produce, for instance, stuff that has to be refrigerated.
Right.
Because if it has to be refrigerated and you don't have a generator, you don't have a way to power that, it's going to go bad. Mm-hmm. It might have been canned foods. It might have been stuff that they can just warm up right quick that they were taking. But again, are you ready and prepared for something like this? I can tell you, the majority of the people, I'm going to say about 90% of the people are not ready for this. They're not. You can ask somebody and they'll be like, I don't believe in prepping. No, those are weirdos. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to share this with you because the times that we're living in. Mm-hmm. Now, let me show you something else. If you can give me number 7. We have quite a bit of videos to share with you because some people really don't believe that the mark of the beast, and in fact, some of us never understood how is this going to happen, and is it possible that people are actually going to do this? How are they going to line up and go with this? But let me share this one with you first before we begin. if this is not a miracle, I don't know what is.
Right.
This is a miracle because look at what happened. They just escaped that right there. If it did that to concrete, what would it have done to a person?
I mean, literally, it blew up after 4 steps that she took outside of that. If you count, the minute she crosses that little thing, you count 1, 2, 3, 4 that she took.
I didn't even count them. Dora did. I wasn't even paying attention. I made that, but yeah, just think of it.
That was very close.
So, we want to know, how is the mark of the beast? How is it going to be implemented? Let me share the scripture with you first. Let me show you Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 through 18. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 through 18.
He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666.
So I want you to go back to number 16. He causes all, both small and great. It doesn't matter nationality. It doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter if you're a powerful person, as they say, if you have influence or if you don't. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It tells you right there. Free or slave. To receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. And that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. I really want you to focus with that. That no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark. In other words, you're not going to be able to conduct any business unless you have the mark. Imagine that. Really imagine that. Some of us were able to get some type of sense of that during the lockdowns and that you couldn't go to a restaurant unless you put that diaper on your face, and then you were able to go to the restaurant and sit down, and then you could take it off, and then you were able to order. Just think of that. That was some programming there.
Yes.
Because you had to put it on. In other words, people were okay with saying, okay, I will obey so I can get this service. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to deny this. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to keep searching to see what restaurant I'm okay with going in there and ordering food. Mm-hmm. If not, I'll just go home and cook for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just think of that. That wasn't even a necessity at the time. That was more for pleasure, more for, I didn't feel like cooking today, more for, I feel like going out to eat today. That's what that was. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because people were starving.
Right.
They weren't in need. They weren't watching their kids in starvation. And yet, they were willing to do whatever was necessary for them to order some food. Mm-hmm. Just think of that. They were willing to do whatever was necessary, which was very minor, but they were willing to obey in order just to get some food. Not that they were starving. They just wanted to enjoy a meal at a restaurant. And they did it. Imagine. See, people don't understand. Imagine when this comes into place, where that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark. In other words, if you have a business, you won't be able to sell. If you don't have a business, but you're out there and you wanted to purchase some food, you're going to have the mark in order to purchase it, or starve, or watch your kids starve and beg for food. Mm-hmm. Just think about that. And yet people lined up to do what was necessary when they didn't need to. At this time, during this period, they're going to be starving.
Yes.
You're going to be hungry. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen with the people that have mortgages that they don't even own their house. They're gonna have to purchase. They're gonna have to do this or get kicked out of the home,
Yes.
get evicted. And if we've seen anything during this time in society, they have been programmed that you have to have a beautiful home in order for people to respect you. If you want to please people, you have to have a beautiful home. That's what they've been programmed.
Yes.
Now, let me get some videos with you. And you may say, how is it that people are going to do this? Let me show you one first. If you give me number one. And this is the 15-minute cities that they've been discussing. And this is the first one that's up and running that people are actually living in there. And people say, how is that possible? How could they possibly put somebody in a 15-minute city? I want you to listen to how this guy explains it. Why he wants to be in a 15-minute city and why he got in the 15-minute city.
If you think you need a car to get around Arizona, well, this community is out to prove you wrong. The days of owning a car are in the rearview mirror for Carl Parrish.
People assume if you don't have a car in America, especially in Arizona, that it's only because you can't afford a car.
But Parrish prefers to get around on an electric bike.
I knew that was challenging, but I also knew it was healthier. I knew it was, I had a better feel of my community when I walked around it. And so, from stress and in economics, health-wise, I felt like this was the right thing to do.
He says this lifestyle is only possible because he lives in a car-free neighborhood, one with a market, gym, lounges, and outdoor space just steps from his front door.
The biggest advantage to me of being part of cul-de-sac is the community.
Parrish is one of 250 residents of the car-free cul-de-sac community in Tempe, a neighborhood with 0 parking spots that's been up and running for more than a year.
We often got laughed out of the room. People said cities wouldn't want this, the demand wouldn't be there. And now that's really changed.
CEO Ryan Johnson says cul-de-sac Tempe is popular and growing. They're hoping to reach 1,000 residents in the next 2 years and build more carless communities in the valley and country, believing the demand is out there.
Transportation is evolving. Waymo is now doubling every 6 months. We're seeing them all over the roads every day. There's been a proliferation of e-bikes. Our residents' #1 mode is the light rail. And this portfolio of transportation options works instead of having a private car, and it creates a better life.
And construction on those new units are already underway. There will be 450 more residences over here within the next 2 or 3 years.
Okay, you heard what he said. He wanted to get in by it because it was healthier. Okay, you don't have to get rid of your car. You don't have to get in a community like that. You can go exercise on your own. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be forced to exercise.
Right.
Right there, he is being forced because he has to get in a bike in order to get to where he needs to get, because there's no cars there. No cars are allowed there.
Yeah, they're not allowed, and they're not accessible. Like there's no streets, for a car to fit.
But what are they doing to the people? They're conditioning them to not own a car, not to have the expense of a car, and to pay extra just to live in a community. And what have they been telling people? Well, right here, everybody gets along, everybody gets together. No. Just think of that. And people say, well, nobody will take the mark of the beast. How are they going to get people to take the mark of the beast? It's all part of the conditioning. In fact, there's another video that I could have shared with you as well, but you can look it up. And it's talking about the Gen Z. This generation would rather not own anything and rent everything and live in a community like this than to be out here living, owning stuff, owning property, owning vehicles. And we see it right now as well. It is getting more difficult for this generation to purchase a home. Well, we see that because of how expensive it is, how the cost of living, how expensive groceries are, and they're about to skyrocket. If you haven't heard, they are about to skyrocket at a amount that people are not ready for. It's sad, but it's going to happen. And then, of course, if you haven't heard, Walmart announced that within 2 weeks, the grocery stores are going to be empty. Now, could that be a setup for people to go crazy and take everything out of the stores? Yeah,
Could be.
could be.
Mhm.
Or could they really be announcing that it's about to be a shortage just because of not just the tariffs, but everything that's going on around the world? And I'm talking about farms being taken away. If you haven't been paying attention, farmers, their land is being taken away. If you're not paying attention to what has happened to the chickens, of all the chicken killings that have been going on, if you haven't been hearing all of that is happening in order to cause food shortages. But I wanted to share with this 15-minute city because I want you to see how easily people are convinced that it's okay to get in an area like that. It's like putting that hamster in the wheel in the little cage and then just feeding it, and he's just going in circles and circles in there because he's fine as long as he gets fed.
Mhm.
If you remember in reading in scripture where Moses freed the people, that they wanted to go back in because they were given free food. I mean, just think of that.
Yes.
Sorry, I have a neighbor that her vehicle edges goes off all the time. I don't
If you're
know what's
hearing
the
the
deal.
alarm, that's
If
what
you're
it
hearing the
is.
alarm, yes. I don't know what's the deal with that. So
Very sensitive.
let me show you how this is going to work out for the mark of the beast. If you can give me article, if you can give me number 4, and let me pull it up on this one. And I'm sure you've been paying attention as we've been trying to get this up, but we didn't get it up soon enough. So I want to go ahead and talk about it now. And this is Sam's Club on 600 locations is going to remodel and will eliminate cashiers. Just think about that. And you may say, how is that going to work for Sam's? Well, haven't all of us at one point in our time went out and did our self-checkout?
Mhm.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Right? You can go to Lowe's and they don't have any cashiers any longer.
Right. Mhm.
They got rid of their employees and are using machines, and you have to check yourself out. Just think of that. But due to the inconvenience, people won't stand up and say, you know what, I had enough. Just think of this. 600 locations remodel will eliminate cashiers. This is all going to be AI. In other words, you're going to have to scan. You're going to have to, first of all, just think of it. They're going to get on your phone first. You have to do an app. You have to get on a phone. You have to have your phone, load up the app, and use the app in order to conduct business, in order to shop there. Just think of that. That's what has to be done first. And that's how they're going to get you. Everybody goes and uses the app first. Everything's way okay. Everybody gets conditioned
Yes.
not to have a cashier one-on-one to conduct the transaction.
Right, because right now, if you go to a Sam's, at least in our area, there's a lady there, that she used to check membership card for every member that came in. You would have to show your card. Well, now, they got away with doing that at a certain hours, because now it was more like if you had a plus, if you bought for more time or early time, then the checkout the lady was there to check the membership to make sure you could be there at 7:00 in the morning. Well, once between that time till I believe it's 9 that they leave, the other people to come in, then the lady is gone. She was gone. There was nobody there anymore. And I'm like, okay, so I guess, they got tired. Well, no, it was just conditioning you that you're not going to see this lady there anymore. And that's where it was heading, was that now, they have to where they're going to have those little computers where you're going to have to scan your membership. So now everybody's going to have to scan themselves in there to just go in to the Sam's Club.
Well, the technology is so advanced that you can just walk and you don't have to take out your phone. It's going to scan you, and it scans your phone. It picks up your phone.
Definitely.
I want you to look at this paragraph where it says about 1 in 3 Sam's Club members use scan and go technology, and usage has increased more than 50% over the past 3 years, according to the Bentonville ARC-based company, which is owned by Walmart. The membership base is also getting younger, with Gen Z and millennials accounting for about half of new member growth. Think of that. They have conditioned people that this is okay, that scan and go. Why? Because nobody wants to wait in line anymore. You see people getting upset because they're in line and they're, oh, I can't wait any longer. I need to hurry up and do it. And you might say, is that true? Let me show you some videos. But before I show you those other videos, let me show you one that was years ago. If it's number 8, was years ago, and they talked about this and they warned about this, that this was going to happen, that this is how they're going to do this. And they're doing it right now. Again, this is an old video, but they were discussing of how they're going to bring in this new order.
Your mother, there isn't anything of your child, your wife, your mother, there isn't anything that you ever had. There isn't anything that you own. There isn't any right that you possess that they're not planning on taking away. Sheeple. Your sheeple. And your children are going to be slaughtered if you go along with the program. It's time to wake the town and tell the sheeple. We're being led like sheep to the slaughter. What is the purpose? A new world order. The United States of America is controlled by this evil army. They control the money system. They control the State Department. They control the presidency.
So they have a plan to give us a new age world global occultic religion. They're going to have been deceived so greatly that they'll actually think it's something good. In fact, the whole New Age movement, the New World Order crowd is telling people that the 666 mark of the beast is the most elite thing that could ever happen to them.
No cash. Cashless society. It's ready to go. Disease could be created. In essence, this is what he was saying.
We have new strains of virtually everything that's drug resistant or drug.
I'm not worried about the old diseases. I'm worried about the ones that they create to bring down the population of the world. They simply want to exterminate them, but that they consider them to be useless eaters.
Words are very important to the Illuminati. These things are manufactured purposely for a purpose. And so I'm saying that there is something organized and directed, and it's here in this country.
Future shocker biochip. And this is what Anthony showed you earlier, a biochip. That's an injectable computer chip, an economic mark in the back of our right hands or in our foreheads.
You've got a choice. You can join in this fight, or you can die as a slave.
It's telling you the truth. It's telling you right there from the Illuminatis. It's Freemasons. I mean, they'll get upset whenever you mention it's Freemasons. I mean, I know some people that are Freemasons. Yeah, I've seen them wear the tags. Not that I hang out with them, but I've seen them wear those symbols. So let me show you something else. You may be asking, how are people going to take the mark? How are they going to do this? Fairly easy. Let me show you. Yeah, and give me number 2. I believe this is the one I want to show you first. Well, if it's not, well, I'll just have to show you the other one afterwards anyway. So hopefully it's the right one. Yeah.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So, how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
You get that? How they tried to make it so easy. See, this will save you time. You don't have to wait in line. You just hurry up and get what you want, and you walk out.
Walk in and walk out.
You don't have to talk to nobody. You don't have to have a conversation with anyone. You don't get to get the real news, the good stuff, somebody's telling you what's really happening. You don't get to hear that. You just go in there, get your stuff, and get out. What have they created? People without patience. How difficult is it to wait in line?
Yeah. And remember, all of that whole store runs by power.
Mm-hmm. So what happens whenever, like it just happened in Spain? Power goes out. What happens then?
That store's going to be shut down.
But what if it's intentional?
Mm-hmm.
What if they just say, well, we're out of power? Guess what? Oh, nobody's going to operate. Nobody's going to go anywhere.
Nothing. You can't, because there is nothing else you can do in that store.
But did you notice that it was all AI operated? There was nobody at the cash register. There was nobody there to greet you in. There was none of that. In fact, that's gone away with the Walmart with the greeters as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's none of that. It's all just come in and get out. But why have it that way? Because if you don't have this mark that the Bible clearly states that the beast is going to want, Satan's going to want people to have this mark, then you're not going to be able to go inside that store and get any food, any supplies, because you don't have the mark. Those doors are not going to open. Nothing's going to operate for you in order to get stuff.
Yeah.
They're getting people conditioned to be, okay, let's put it on the app. It's fine. It makes things easier. Let me show you another one. Let me give me number 3. And this one goes on to tell you how nice and convenient it is to have this. So it's gonna, okay. So right here is just showing you how the cart works. To use that cart, and it scans everything for you as you're putting it in there. This is one of the videos. There was another one I was going to share with you, and it's a lady, and I thought this was it, but that's my fault. There's a lady actually explaining it to you on how this works, and she is so intrigued. She is so happy on how this works. And then you just go on the comments, and people are so happy to use this system.
Yeah.
It's like they're clueless of where this is going.
Yes, because she's showing you, I remember the video now that Ray's talking about, because she's showing you how the Sam's Club scan and go is doing. It's not the Amazon, it's the Sam's Club. So, but while you're listening to her, she says, because I am not coordinated, to be able to scan something and then put it in my cart. I was like, what? She just said that?
It's just excuses to use systems like this and go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
But what surprised me was the amount of comments that people were okay with this and want stuff like this done. Mm-hmm. And as you see how this works, it's just, it.
Right. And guys, I don't know if the ladies who are watching this noticed, this is not a typical shopper, because there's no, where are you going to put your baby? Where are you going to put your kid? Where you can't use this as, for children, because the whole cart is balanced and it's weighed and all that. So there's no baby involved. There's no kids. It's not your typical.
Or there's
shopper.
not even your seat for your kid.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is not a typical shopper. Who goes shopping? Moms. Moms go shopping all the time.
Yeah, but sometimes moms, well, yeah, if you have a baby, yeah,
Mhm.
but some of them have their kids at school. So, but yes, you're right. There's no place for a baby to sit there.
Yeah.
So okay, let's go. Again, the mark of the beast is going to be so easily implemented as being convenient for you. It's something that you need to do. It's the only way you're able to get supplies. But as you see everything that is being done right now, it's for convenience.
Yes.
It's not convenient because there's no cash involved. There's no transactions that you can say, no, I don't want to operate like this. There's no yourself making a decision. It's someone already decided for you that this is how you're going to shop. This is how you're going to enter the store. Whilst if you don't have this, you can't shop here. In fact, that's how, which store is that's already like that? Is it Costco?
Oh, yes. That we were kicked out of Costco.
No, not Costco. No, there's a different one. My bad. It's not Costco. It's another store already implemented this right here, that this is the only way you're able to enter and shop. There's no cash involved. There's no credit cards involved. You have to you have to have a app on your phone in order to shop at the store. I'm trying to think of the name of that store. If somebody's listening and you can respond to that, but there's a store already that is the only way you can shop in there. It's through the app. I'll have to look it up after this. But we want to share this with you. Let me share, if you can give me number 6. And as this is one of those funny ones, but I want you to listen to this is a good one. Again, people are all over AI right now. Good.
Take me somewhere I've never been before. Oh shit, where's it going?
This ought to be interesting.
Let's see where it takes us. Turning right. Let's see.
Well, that's good.
Wonder where it's going to take us. Like how? It has to be just places we've never been in. Like, where it's
Headed toward Mooresville.
Yeah. I've been to Mooresville. Where it's going?
And that narrows it down. There's so many places off this exit. Been to most of them though. Just about any eating restaurant around here.
Says we're pulling in.
Oh. I guess you've never been there before.
Me? Tesla, take me somewhere else.
That was funny.
Yeah, just take that. Oh, but it pays attention, so it must have everything documented of where you've been and where you haven't been,
Right.
and where you probably need to be.
I mean, right there and then, that's a great example of how much information this car has already.
Yeah, computers.
Yeah.
So, guys, just be alert. Pay attention to what's happening. We should not be fearful. There should not be any fear. In fact, there should be an excitement knowing how close we're getting to meeting the Lord.
Yes.
That's the excitement for us. For us that truly believe that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, truly, and not just by action, by words, by saying it, but by action.
Yes.
That we live out the Bible, that we are warning people and telling people, look, this is what's happening. It shouldn't bring us fear. It should just let us know, look, we're getting closer to what Jesus said. It's almost time to come home.
Yes.
There it is. So there should not be any fear. But you should go out and tell people, look, we see what is happening in the Bible right now. We see it happening before our eyes. This is how they're setting up the beast system. It's being set up right now. Look and show it to them. It should be pulpits. Pastors should be screaming from the pulpits, letting people know, look, the system is being built as we speak. But they're not.
That's right.
They're not. Or at least the ones around here in this location, they're not. Maybe there's a handful that are saying it. Maybe 5%, 3%.
If that.
Maybe
Yeah.
2%. And 98% are not saying a single thing. So guys, just understand where we're at. And
Yes.
thanks for watching.
Yes. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you on the next video.